Hey, welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
What were you juggling over there?
Yeah, I raised that glass really high. I had to get under it and catch it. And I did.
Oh, good, because I know what happens when you drop a Glencairn.
I'm a professional mime on the weekends.
Mime?
In June.
Professional mime.
Mime.
In June on the weekends.
Yeah.
In, locally?
Nope. Only overseas.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right.
Speaking about being professionals.
Yep.
We got our first Twitter warning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was actually kind of concerned. I didn't know what happened.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got this weird warning on one of our tweets that basically said hey, your tweet has been flagged for inappropriate content.
Yeah.
And I was like,
we don't allow eggplants up in here.
well, I was like, what did I do? Or
what
happened? Yeah, what happened? Did I post those pictures on one?
Gummit.
Yeah, well, that's for patrons only.
I thought that was in the secure folder.
Well, I thought so too. And good news is they still are.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, we do share them on Patreon, but you know what I mean.
It's exclusive.
That's very exclusive.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. So we have our podcast host automatically post to Twitter.
Yep.
It just says hey, this episode's come out. And it's something quick and easy, and we don't even do anything.
I already see where this is going.
Yeah. So
Quick and easy.
What happened is we released an episode a couple of episodes ago entitled The 5 Love Languages and George Dickel 15 Year.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, Twitter flagged it as Love and Dickel.
Yeah.
Clearly,
this must be inappropriate.
So I mean, literally as soon as I saw that, I got on the Twitter thing where you're like, this is not inappropriate content.
Right. Put you right into the Twitter council.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Elon Musk himself is like, I don't know.
There you go.
So then I called you and I'm like, here's what happened. And your response was like, okay.
Strange.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that I don't know why. I'm like, what did we do? What happened? But good news is, Kyle.
Yeah.
As of today, the recording, that tweet is no longer flagged.
Oh, cool.
So that means that the Elon Musks are figuring things out, I guess.
Well, that's something.
Well, I figured we got to do our due diligence and at least say hey, Twitter bot.
Yeah.
This is not inappropriate content. Well, I mean, there were some inappropriate things we said, but
sure, but that was irrelevant to the post.
Correct.
I mean, that happens from time to time on the Instagrams and things. We'll make a content thing over here on this app, and when we share it to this app, it's that app's oh, hey, no,
you can't do that.
You can't do that. But it all seems to work out. And if we lose a post, I'm just kind of always oh well,
yeah,
whatever.
We did the thing.
I'll make another one.
Oh, very, very sad.
Yeah.
But I thought initially that was my reaction. Oh well.
Yeah.
We're controversial.
Right.
Okay.
If you say so.
But then I was like, no. I want to see what happens if I challenge this.
Making our little middle school boy jokes.
George Dickel.
You hear what he said?
No, anyway. I have a bit of a correction.
Okay.
We've been corrected.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kyle, not you.
Okay.
There are others. We've talked about this. You're aware, right? That there are others.
My name is Kyle.
Well, are you?
Also?
Well,
yeah.
That is good.
I have variants.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So a variant brought up something that we talked about,
okay,
and we were incorrect.
Okay.
And I went back. I also did my homework in this thing too.
Okay.
And I went back to check and see if the correction was indeed correct, and the correction is correct. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle said that there are indeed lightsabers in Rogue One.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Man. All right, pause.
I'm paused.
I'm going to think about this for a second.
You do it.
Oh, Vader's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, how dare you?
Sure.
How dare you guys miss this? And I was like, I'm 90% sure he's right, but I need to verify.
Yeah.
Kyle, I did my homework.
Yeah.
I trusted you, but I wanted to make sure before he brought this up to everybody that we were all on the same page.
Fair enough. I'll accept that criticism that in the movie as it was released, there were lightsabers.
And
however, I feel like I've heard very many stories that that was a very late added on scene,
maybe
kind of a thing, and so I don't necessarily that scene to me is almost like a post credit scene.
Okay, I see your point, but I'm gonna actually agree with the other variant on this.
Okay,
or with the variant.
Okay. I'm just saying the story that was Rogue One.
Sure,
that bit with Vader is not I don't feel like part of that story. It ends with the bomb.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say I feel like it's the story. Because like you get that and you're like, oh shit, it's Darth Vader.
That's the best part of that movie.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the movie as it was, I think, created.
Okay. Did not
I
involve
think
it.
that little bit, I think you could have released that 5-minute segment as its own movie, and it would have made $1 billion. Like everybody would have went and watched that. Like that's all that needed to be.
Can I get a $15 ticket for this 5-minute Vader?
5 times? Yeah, in a row. Here's $100.
But I mean, Kyle's point absolutely stands. There are lightsabers in Rogue One.
Yeah,
but
I don't feel bad about it. For me personally, I still like that. That's like a cool add-on.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
yeah.
Like I would have like at that same point in time also said, yeah, no, Princess Leia's not in Rogue One. Oh wait, yeah, she is. Yeah. But like same kind of thing. Like I still look at that as like that was just like a little add-on at the end. But
it is the
heart
coolest
of that
add-on.
The heart of that movie, the core of that movie, does not have it.
Correct.
Is my
agree.
take.
I agree to that.
Just as Andor was not meant to have lightsabers in it.
Right.
The core of that story is adjacent to the Jedi. We just happened to throw in Darth Vader because we knew that would make the money, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I passed out 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, from Glee and then Fear and then Glee again.
You're like one of the videos of the people who are on those like slingshot rides and they like keep passing out and they wake up and they're like, ah!
This is really fun.
Oh my God.
Out.
Just in that 2-minute Darth Vader. Oh, it's Mark. He's got
lightsabers. I mean, we were sitting next to each other. Did you not notice that?
Were you not passed out too? Somehow we synced it up perfectly. They were just both collapsing at the same time.
Ragdolling on it. Everyone else in the movie is like, what the hell is going on down there?
Stop. Good Lord.
Those Dreppin' Stone boys, they don't know how to watch a movie.
They can't handle their Vaders.
Could you imagine?
Actually, I can.
Yeah.
I can imagine it really well. Yeah, it's not that hard, actually.
It was a lived experience.
Yeah.
On that note, can we live another experience and try some whiskey?
You know it, my guy.
All right, what we got?
We got some spots. A spot.
Should we get them checked out?
Maybe. Because it's yellow.
Oh, that can't be.
No, it's yellow spot.
Oh.
Single pot still Irish whiskey.
An Irish? We haven't done an Irish whiskey recently.
Yeah, it's been a few episodes.
Been a bit. I'm for it. Yellow spot.
Yeah, the yellow spot. Aged 12 years.
Ooh.
3 cask maturation.
Really?
Bourbon, sherry, and Malaga.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Malaga.
What is Malaga?
And it's also non-chill filtered.
Oh, does it got chunky bits?
Probably.
Good old chunky bit.
Not as much as last week, but matured for not less than 12 years in bourbon barrels. Say that. Not matured.
Yeah,
matured for not less.
It's not matured 12 years.
Matured for not less than 12 years.
Yeah.
In bourbon barrels, sherry butts,
Ooh.
and Malaga casks.
What is? I think Malaga is a wine, like a fortified wine. I could be wrong. Yeah. We could look it up, but we're not going to.
Matured and bottled for Mitchell and Son.
Yeah, I think this is actually I think it's Middleton makes this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you're right. This mark certifies this whiskey as a single pot still whiskey from the renowned Middleton Distillery, County Cork, Ireland.
There you go. Do you know the story about the spots?
I don't.
So
enlighten me.
Yes, from what I understand, is that Mitchell and Sons, they're either a blender or they were a storehouse. I don't know exact details in that, but what they would do is they would mark each barrel based on what they hoped to achieve or what they were achieving with that particular barrel. So like with a yellow spot, and I guess just a paintbrush or something, or maybe even like just a fingerprint, I don't know.
Right.
But they would mark,
Splat.
This is the 12-year. We're going to wait for 12 years. Yellow spot. There you go. This is, whatever green spot is, this is what we're going to do. There you go. Blue spot, we're going to make this cast strength, however many years. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's how that's how they would distinguish between the types of whiskey.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's where you get the name from.
I like it.
There you go.
Have you ever had any spots?
Well, but I got it removed. Yeah, it's okay. Everything was fine.
I didn't mean to bring it up.
Well, I'm okay with it.
Have you ever had any whiskey spots?
With you, didn't we have something?
I've owned a green spot.
I think I've had the green. We haven't featured the green spot, but I think
That was actually early on.
Yeah,
That was
that's
like one of the first Irish whiskeys I ever procured.
I remember trying it with you.
Yeah.
Is there there's a yellow spot like this one, and then I feel like there's another yellow spot.
Well, I keep seeing this one that's I think it's the maturation of it.
Yeah, it's like a
little
different. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got some different lineage.
Yeah, it's still a 12-year, but there's something else, and I think I've seen that one, but I haven't had it.
Yeah,
so
same.
it's just a green spot with you then.
Cool.
Yeah,
This ought to be good.
let's get into it.
Opening more of that Irish whiskey bottles.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, we said that was like a New Year's thing that we were going to do more Irish.
I'm for it.
Here we are doing an Irish.
Yeah,
Would you like to open this one?
I can. Do you want me to?
Yeah.
All right, I will.
Oh,
That was a little hefty pour.
nothing wrong with it. You claim that drip, sir.
I was good, and then I wasn't.
Well, you caught it with the bottle. I
Oh,
watched
I
the whole
didn't
thing
see it. I
happen.
didn't see
You
it.
caught it with the bottle, and then I watched it slowly go down. I was like, no, I think it's the bottom. You're wearing it. There it is.
Look at that,
Look at it.
man. You know what? That's actually kind of darker than I expected.
Yeah?
You said bourbon, sherry, and Malaga.
Malaga.
Did we?
I got to look that up.
Okay, let's
dude.
look it
I'm
up.
just curious.
I think it's a wine. I'm pretty sure it's a wine.
I'm sure it probably is too. Fortified, maybe?
Yep. I snuck a little sniffy sniff while you're looking it up.
You dirty bastard.
I apologize.
It's a municipality in Spain.
Oh, there you go. So it's a Spanish
I'm
wine.
sure it's got to be Malaga wine OPI. Oh my god. That's nail polish.
Oh.
Here you go. So yeah, I think it's just Spanish wine.
Got it.
Pedro Jimenez is also coming up as I'm searching it, so I wonder if it's like
Oh,
not
is it
dissimilar from a
So PX is also Malaga, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe it's just a catch-all term.
Malaga is a sweet fortified wine originating in the Spanish city of Malaga,
Okay.
made from Pedro Jimenez and Moscatel grapes.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. If you ever see a bottle that says PX finish or something like that, everyone's like, what does that mean? Pedro Jimenez.
Well, but it's interesting that they would separate sherry and Malaga
Right.
if Malaga is more or less a sherry.
But port is also a fortified wine too, and
Right.
those are separated.
So I wonder if it's just
Yeah.
a more specific.
Maybe
kind of thing.
like this is a such and such from this exact place.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely like clearly imparts some color here.
Yeah, I don't think it's not leaning like rosé color.
No.
Like it definitely just kind of looks.
But it is
Whiskey.
darker than an Irish whiskey normally is.
Is it? I feel like that's more like general Irish color. It's not anywhere near dark as bourbon,
Right.
but it's it's in that Scotchy realm.
I guess I'm just thinking like a Jameson or like a regular Tullamore Dew or a Bushmills. Like they tend to be on the lighter side, and this just seems a little bit darker than that.
Which I would hope so.
Yeah, it
12 years, you know?
It better be
Yeah.
on the nose. Delightfully
Just-
fruity.
Well, it's just Irish, man.
It's shortbread. It's like what are those the cookies with the jam in the middle? You know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I have no.
Man,
clue.
are they Sandies?
No, Sandies are pecans.
Oh, okay. Jammies.
Jammies? Slip into some jammies.
I can get a whole box of jammies.
You weird.
Well, but you know what I'm talking about. Like they're like shortbread cookies, but they have like strawberry or like some sort of preserves in them.
Yeah.
They're quite delicious.
Yeah, always. I mean, that's a good combination.
And that's what it reminds me of. It's like a bright fruit,
Yeah.
and then just like lovely shortbread
To me, it's like tea time. And you're having your little
biscuits.
biscuit with some jam and some
Yeah.
cream.
What's a like it's like Devonshire cream?
Devonshire. Oh.
You're definitely from America. Devonshire.
Devonshire.
God, it's so damn friendly.
I know. Like Irish whiskey is so inviting.
Yeah.
It's not that challenging because
Nope.
on the nose it's very friendly. It's very sweet. It's very bakery. It's very patisserie.
Yeah, bakery's good.
So I mean, it just gives you all of those kind of lovely notes, and you don't get much barrel on the nose. It's not a big high proof kicker,
At least in the ones that we've experienced so far.
at this point.
I'm sure that there are some out there.
But yeah,
It's friendly. Like there's a reason why, an Irish whiskey is a kind of a first whiskey experience kind of thing. Like, and there's a reason why Jameson and Bushmills and Tullamore are famous brands, because their nose is friendly.
Yep.
What was the proof on this?
92.
Okay. And why I bring it up is because there's a slight little twinge,
Yeah.
little twang.
Oh, hey, now.
I will say this: out of almost every Irish whiskey I've had, with the exception of something that's peated, I'm thinking Bill Phil, I'm thinking Connemara. For the most part, the nose is even keel. You get one or two notes, but there's not a whole lot of complexity.
Sure.
But I love the two notes that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Here I'm getting
Can't beat those notes.
No, not at all. Getting bright, fresh fruit, and then shortbready biscuits and deliciousness. A little bit of butter.
And can I say that I think that butter is grass fed?
Oh, listen, it better be grass fed. I know how expensive the bottle is.
Well, it's just what I'm starting to get this just whiff of herbal-y something.
Yeah.
Just buried though.
Yep.
Stick
your nose all the way in it.
Yeah, it's like you got a whole plate of those shortbread biscuits and they're warm right out of the oven, but you're standing out in a grass field.
With some what's that cow note?
With some bullshit.
a little cowie out here.
Fresh manure.
Call back. All right. Enough sniffing. Time for sipping.
Time for gulping.
Oh my God. All right. Let's take a second. Ready?
Yeah.
Damn, that's good. Everybody's looking at their podcast device did they really stop for a second? Yeah, no, wow.
It was a couple of seconds.
It was. Pregnant pause.
Yeah. I mean, it's impressive that it takes you on that whole thing in 92 proof.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you get all of it. You get the shortbread. You get a little barrel note.
A little bit of honey.
A little age. Yeah, that little bourbon sweetness.
Yeah.
On the end of it.
Yeah. Little, slight caramel.
I mean, the most delicate little sensual proof bite.
Yeah. Not challenging at all.
Yeah, no,
but also you're aware it's there.
Oh, just a little pinch on the cheek. You know?
Yeah. Which cheek?
Hey. You look good today.
Yeah, thank you. I've been working on it.
Thanks.
You see how tight these buttons are?
I've been doing squats.
It's not my face cheek, is what I'm trying to say. Okay.
I wasn't going there.
I know. Man, there's just there's layers that normally I don't expect out of Irish whiskey.
Right.
And it's because, very similar to the nose, Irish whiskey tends to be, here's your note. These are beautiful. They're going to sing. You're going to love these, but there's not a whole lot here. This, however, you're absolutely right. There are several notes that I'm getting. It becomes that kind of almost jazz orchestral composition of okay, here's this note, hang on it for a second, let that sing, and then here's this note, hang on it for a second, and it's beautiful. And they're all complementary.
Yeah. It's that beautiful kind of arrangement of that is Irish whiskey.
Yep.
But now we're going to give you a little bit of this bourbon, kind of darker, sweet.
Yep.
Bourbon, brown sugary note. But then we've also got this kind of rounded sweet from the sherry influence. And I've never had Malaga. That'd actually be a really interesting thing of finding these, getting a bottle of sherry.
Yeah.
Getting a bottle of Pedro Jimenez, getting a bottle of Malaga, and just to be able to specifically, what is that?
That flavor is this.
Where's the influence of this thing coming through?
Right.
That'd actually be a shit ton of fun.
Episode for the future.
Yeah. And just breaking it down, just to kind of understand those things specifically.
Yeah. That is very Dreppen Stone right there. That is we want to understand the whiskey better, so we actually have to understand some of this wine to understand the whiskey.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I would characterize this as just super, super friendly. But sometimes when I say that, I mean this is not something that's challenging or not something that's complex, and I don't mean that in this case.
Right.
You could very easily give this to a whiskey novice and say here you go. This is a good representation of an Irish, and they'd be fantastic.
Right.
But you can also give this to someone who has experienced a lot of whiskey and hey, here's what this is.
Here's a great example of Irish whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
And they
like,
too would be like, oh wow.
Yeah, for sure. Because like there's so much going on.
Yeah. There's like this herbal tea note on the back end.
Like a white tea, yeah.
Yeah. That's like very interesting and like unique in that aspect. No, I totally agree. Like you do want to say like friendly. And like usually I think when we use that moniker, it's like in terms of like, oh yeah, no, it's not complex and it's going to be an easy introductory kind of a thing. And this could work that way because it is very friendly, and I think most people who enjoy spirits would enjoy this.
Yeah.
But it's not simple.
No, and I think that's what I'm getting at. Like, this is not a simple pour.
Right.
And sometimes maybe I kind of use friendly in place of simple.
Like, here it is. It's not Shakespeare. It's not, you're not reading Old English and like you've got to like interpret it in the right way and
focus.
then understand the meanings of the time and like where they're going with it.
Where are you going
it's
here?
like it's like Up. It's a kids movie, but like holy shit, when you really start peeling back the layers, there's really some complexity here.
I wasn't sure where you're going, but I am I
get it,
I
right?
understand exactly what you're
It's a Pixar
saying.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
It's like really simple, it can be,
right.
But like if you really dig into it,
Yeah.
there's some really deep things happening.
There's a lot
here.
going on. Wow. That's damn good.
I know,
That's
man.
pretty good.
I know.
Good. You just came up with that on your
I
own?
just came up with
Wow,
it.
that was impressive. I kind of saw that in real time.
Right. Yeah.
No, not kind of. Like I definitely did.
I kind of like froze there for a minute and went into like,
Sleep mode or something. Yeah, I saw that. I was
like,
a little.
here it is.
I kind of know the signs of a stroke. I was like concerned for a second. I was like, should I be concerned?
Oh shit. His left arm is locked.
Not again. Why is it there? Yeah. And then when I saw that spark, I was like, oh, okay, he's thinking.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what that was.
Yeah. One little spark.
Yeah.
That's a Figment reference.
I got it. Man, I like that ride. Carol hates that ride.
I don't. I like the song. and I like the memories that it gives us
Well,
because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, oh, this is like a really crappy thing that y'all did.
I think that's why I like it.
Well, it's like you had the original.
Yeah.
And then you took out what was great.
Sure.
And tried to make this new thing. And then y'all were like, fuck, we messed that up.
Yeah.
Put Figment back in.
Right.
And so it's still that weird, crappy ride, but just now it's got Figment in it.
And what's his face?
Fair enough. Nigel Channing.
Who's the actor? He's from.
I know, but he's like the one that I don't ever remember his name.
Damn. I mean, he's a Monty Python, but I can't.
I know. Like he's not. Yeah.
John Cleese. He's not John Cleese.
He's not John Cleese. There you go. Michael.
You might be right. Michael Caine. Michael Caine. I'm sorry, Master Bruce. I failed you.
So, man, Yellow Spot is on spot.
That works. I'm good with that.
like it.
I'll allow it.
I had Green Spot. Really enjoyed it, but honestly, had that bottle before we started the podcast.
Yep.
So it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Had been looking for other spots. Once I realized there were other
as
spots.
you do, like you want to check everything out just
Totally.
occasionally.
Like,
Yeah.
well, that was good. So cool. Let me try other things.
Right.
Just saw where you were going.
Okay. I was like, I don't think he gets my meaning here, but that's fine.
That one's a lot bigger now. Let me check that one out.
Yeah. Should I get this like professionally like that?
Probably not.
It'll go away.
I don't want to know if it's bad. I don't want to know. But had been looking for spots, and it is kind of like one of those conversations about price.
Yeah.
Like, are you willing to pay
for
it?
They can be pricey.
But finally found this one north of the 100 mark. Was like, let's go. Like, it's been time.
Sure.
It's been several years. Knowing how much I like Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
I feel like this is starting to get into that upper level.
Yeah, I
the
agree.
upper tier of Irish. So I was all about it, and have not been disappointed. Really quick though, I didn't even go into like all the bottle words.
There's a bottle novel in the back of that
See if
bottle.
there's anything interesting on the nose. What you should get: mown hay and cracked black pepper,
No.
red bell peppers,
Nah.
nutmeg, clove oil,
Okay, maybe.
and green tea.
Okay, green
All
tea.
right, so like we did the tea. I said herbalness, and I'm going to
Sure.
attribute that to the hay.
Okay.
I don't get any pepper though.
Nah. Red bell pepper?
Nutmeg, I could
Specifically red ones, not orange ones, not yellow ones, red.
They're all the same. I could be influenced by nutmeg though.
I could say clove. Like you think of like a Hefeweizen. It's got that like banana clovey note. I could see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No chance for pepper though.
Nah.
On the taste, honey sweetness,
Totally.
with pot still spices.
Okay.
All about that. Flavors of fresh coffee. No.
Nah.
Creamy milk chocolate, maybe, and creme brulee.
I could be convinced of creme brulee. We said a little bit of caramel.
Yep.
Okay.
Notes of red apples and toasted oak.
Fruity.
Definitely
Toasted
the
oak.
toasted oak.
Sure. Okay.
On the finish,
Uh-huh.
sophisticated and complex.
Yeah.
We've
We
already said
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sweetness throughout.
Yep.
With a mix of red grape
There you go.
and dry barley upon exit.
It's like we're professionals.
I know.
Tried barley upon exit.
I
Like,
mean, you
wait,
know.
hold on. I mean, we haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, it's like poop and Cheerios. But everything else we kind of hit on.
Stop for a second. Poop it. Cheerios.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
man.
Just, okay. Okay. I think I'm good.
Then they give you a little novel about what single pot still Irish whiskey is.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
Good on you.
Those are some good words. I mean, I will say, like, having not read any of those and then listening to them.
Yeah.
First of
It's
all,
rewarding.
Yeah, it really
feel
is.
like.
Like it's confirmation that
Yeah.
like, okay, do I get everything? I don't, but I mean, that's cool that we agree with what they're saying.
Yeah,
That's nice.
in a lot of ways, and like maybe there are bottles where like you would open it up and be
Sure.
like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
red bell pepper."
Sure. I mean,
Not this one.
yeah,
but-
or the person writing that, had some sort of food. Maybe they went and had
Right, that
fajitas. Yeah, they're like red bell pepper. I totally get
Man,
that.
I'm
yeah.
still getting it. That's because it's in your mustache, dude.
Yeah, correct.
But whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's cool.
it's cool.
I'm impressed that we hit on as many things as we did.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
state of the world
On that note,
as
wow.
a whole. As a whole.
Yeah, hell in a handbasket.
That's an adjective you could use. A
Aphorism.
descriptor.
There it is.
On that spot, what do you think we should talk about?
A couple of weeks ago, was it maybe early to mid January, something like that?
Something like that we became aware of this.
Yeah, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists releases their semi-annual-ish Doomsday Clock.
The Doomsday Clock.
The Doomsday Clock.
Right.
This is actually the 75th year of the Doomsday Clock.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And you've probably heard about the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah. I remember hearing about it in, I guess it's probably like high school,
Yeah,
being like a reference point.
sure. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's like, especially when you start to learn about the Cold War and the aftermath of World War II, like that is always a thing, especially around like, when you're learning about the Manhattan Project, you're learning about the rise of the nuclear age. That's a thing that tends to happen. It was originally developed as a way for people to kind of start to talk about how close we are, if you will, to the end of the world. I actually think there is a real clock somewhere. You can actually, I guess, go visit it. The Doomsday Clock is located at the bulletin offices of the University of Chicago.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so you can actually go see the Doomsday Clock. But basically is a way to kind of like visually represent how close we are to the end of the world, if you will.
Sure.
At various points in history, it's been
It's always counting down to midnight.
to midnight. Yeah,
Midnight is the hour of
change, if you will.
finality.
Correct. And that's how it's been approached since 1947.
Yeah.
It's just a visual representation of the state of the world as it relates to, well, initially as it relates to nuclear annihilation.
Right. Yeah.
And now a combination of nuclear and climate annihilation.
right. Yeah. They've added in that new contextual element.
Happy things.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, just hey, how likely is the world to end as we know it? Mm-hmm. Which, I remember in high school being introduced to the idea of the Doomsday Clock and watching some videos, in a dark history classroom, not paying attention to things. The image that you always got, it was like the last 15 minutes of the hour.
Right.
And how close are we to midnight? And like back then, it was really like, at that point in time, which was the, late 90s,
Sure.
it was not that close.
Right.
It was like somewhere, around the 15-minute mark. And honestly, kind of forgotten about it.
Right.
Since then.
Yeah.
Until recently, and I saw this post, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I recognize that clock. Why is it so close to midnight?"
Exactly. I have all of the minutes, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll go over those in a second.
Interesting.
So this is just from their website, which is, it's actually kind of a like, it's good in that, like, it's terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
there's a lot of information.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah, we're not just making these numbers up.
No. And it is a combination of like a bunch of scientists.
Right.
And on their website, they talk about like the people who decide where the Doomsday Clock minutes are, if you will, are comprised of like, so many scientists, and like 13 are Nobel Prize winners. Like, this is not just, Chuck in his mom's basement going like, I think y'all we're about to die.
We got to be real close.
Yeah. No, this is like,
they're out of milk at the grocery store.
toilet paper. I ain't seen them for days.
Forget it.
Yeah. This is what their website says. The Doomsday Clock is a design that warns the public about how close we are to destroying our world with dangerous technologies of our own making. It is a metaphor, a reminder of the perils we must address if we are to survive on the planet. When the Doomsday Clock was created in 1947, the greatest danger to humanity came from nuclear weapons, in particular from the prospect that the United States and the Soviet Union were headed for a nuclear arms race. The Bulletin, which is the organization, considers possible catastrophic destructions from climate change in its hand-setting deliberations for the first time in 2007. So it's considering both. So it's been a minute since they've started considering.
2007.
Yeah. So
I don't even feel like climate change was an issue that like was in the zeitgeist until like 2015 or so.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me like not paying attention.
Well, probably. I mean, it's one of those things of like, it's something that we kind of roll out once a year. It's like, we're this close to midnight, and then people go like, and then it subsides. Really, I have the minutes to midnight for the last couple of years. You want to hear them?
Sure.
So again, if midnight is the time at which like a global crisis occurs.
Right. Buttons have been pushed.
Correct.
Missiles are in the air.
Or, the climate change has caused even more catastrophic things. In 2022, so last year, it came out, and it always comes out kind of early in the year. We were 100 seconds to midnight.
100 seconds.
100 seconds to midnight.
1 minute, 40 seconds.
Right now, we are 90 seconds to midnight.
Okay.
So we have dropped a full 10 seconds.
10 seconds. We've lost it.
And if you want to go on and read the entire bulletin, it's like a couple paragraphs that kind of describes why they decided to do this.
Right.
A lot of it is the war in Ukraine and like just fear of China and Russia and that whole kind of
political
correct
landscape.
Exactly. And like, how are the other countries going to respond to that? That's a very like rudimentary version of what the bulletin actually says.
Right.
But in 2019, it's 2 minutes to midnight. So since 2019, so 20, 21, 22, we were at 100 seconds to midnight.
Right.
So it's gotten closer.
20 seconds more.
Right. 2017, we were at 2.5 minutes to midnight. 2015, 3 minutes to midnight. Yeah, no, it gets crazier. 2002, we were 7 minutes to midnight. 1998, we were 9 minutes to midnight.
Yeah.
95, we were 14 minutes to midnight.
Man.
Yeah, so like
there's a consistent
correct
ticking happening.
Yeah, so like what I found interesting is you go back to like, so I've got flipping through, me printing the internet here. So in 1947, which was the first year, we were 7 minutes to midnight. 49, 3 minutes to midnight, then 2 minutes to midnight during the Cold War period, 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 1972, 12 minutes. So we've varied.
Right.
But it's only recently that we've become like within the couple of minutes, like within a minute, basically, a minute and a half or so. Sure. And a lot of that is due to the perspective of climate change as a whole, and also the nuclear arms race that is now ramping up again.
Right.
From what I can tell, the furthest away from midnight that we've been since we've been keeping track was 17 minutes to midnight.
What year was that?
That was 1991. Do you know why?
Was that the breakup of the Soviet Union?
That was the breakup of the Soviet, which technically happened, I guess, in 89. But the Cold War like officially ended in 90. Well, I guess this is 90. So 1990, sorry, 17 minutes to midnight. So that's like the Cold War is officially over.
Right.
Iron Curtain comes down. And this is where this Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty greatly reduces the number of basically nuclear weapons. So that was the furthest away from midnight we've been basically ever. In our lifetimes, for sure.
Right.
So how do you feel?
Well, it is an interesting thing of like understanding that this clock is an artificial example, and it's an artificial artifact to say that this is where we are, and it's a perspective of a certain group of very intellectual individuals and how they kind of feel the status of things that are going down currently. And certainly, like, it doesn't give you a lot of hope, but at the same time, it also like kind of makes me think of like in the perspective of things that like back in 1991, it was what?
17 minutes.
17 minutes.
Yeah.
And granted, like
91 in that period, yeah.
I could see how like at that point in time of like thinking like, oh man, we're headed in the right direction. So like, positivity was at a high.
Right.
And certainly to think that like the same actors are now being a heavy influence on the clock being where it is at this current point in time, which is what?
We are 90 seconds to midnight.
90 seconds. Minute and a half.
Yep.
So it makes me think of like, is there an element of drama that's being played here? Certainly, I think you take into consideration. I was trying really hard. Like one of my children was asking me this morning of like, what are y'all going to talk about on the podcast today? And I was briefly trying to like explain the topics that we were going to cover. And I was trying to explain the Doomsday Clock and like what all of it represents and things. But when I look back at like the arms race and where we were at one point in time, and the complexities of understanding like what it is that there's this war happening in this location, and certainly like we feel responsible to say, hey, you can't just do whatever you want to over there, but to look at our own past and say, but we sometimes do the same kind of a thing, but we just look at it in a different light, and I'm sure they look at it in a different light. But it's a tough thing to wonder, like, this American based group is saying that this is how close we are, and it's this important kind of a thing, and just taking that not as a grain of salt, but just understanding like, all right, this is your perspective,
from where it comes, exactly.
1,000%. I appreciate your perspective because you are smarter individuals than I could ever hope to be.
Right.
But it is just kind of that element of like, okay, like I understand that this is your perspective, and I also understand that there are 360 degrees of that perspective.
And I view it as like the purpose here is to raise awareness.
Sure.
And if you do some searches on their website and kind of read through some of their FAQs and stuff like that, like it talks about the like this perspective is not a politically driven perspective. This is kind of a third party, like here's what's going on, but come on, like there's all manner of version of politics involved,
right?
And like we can see that just based on in 1990 it was here, in 91 it's further away,
right?
Like come on,
yeah.
This is a thing.
It's hard to not argue against that.
Exactly, but I think ultimately the purpose is to raise awareness, like hey, things have not gotten better. They also say like somewhere that the bulletin has moved the hands closer just as much as they've moved the hands further away. But it seems like the pattern in the last couple of years is moving closer and closer. You kind of look at like what's going on in the world as a whole, and it's not surprising to me.
No, me neither.
And I just like, okay, so here's a graphic representation, as they put it, a metaphor of how we're doing, and from this perspective ain't well, like I mean, it's not going well.
And you look at like the political figures that we're putting in place seem to be more triggered by things, and I think anyone would agree that like there is definitely in all politics, it seems like across the globe, there are more polarizing figures. Right. More contrasting elements are in play that you could be concerned that, oh, yeah, if you're pressed on this thing, you could just be triggered into making a rash decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like that's part of the point of it.
Yeah.
There's this recognition of, hey, we need to be aware of these things at the very least.
Right.
Because, so often you think about popular news media as a whole, they might report on something, here's the thing and move on, because their goal is, drive revenue in a lot of ways.
Right.
But you have something that the goal is to raise awareness of, like, hey, think about what we're doing collectively, not just like as individual countries, but as a human race.
Right.
It kind of harkens back to, like, for us in America, like March to April of 2020, of like, okay, collectively, here's what's happening to the globe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and there's fear and so much misinformation and so much information and so much, like, we don't know what's going on. And everyone was in that modality together.
Right.
It very much felt like, okay, collectively, we are in this together.
Right.
And then
For a very short period of time. Yeah.
correct. But there's that, like, sentiment of, this is all we have right now.
Right.
Like, this is all we get.
Right.
And, like, we want to think,
I'm going to do with it what I want.
well, there's a line in Interstellar that I just love, and it's John Lithgow's character says something about, or no, I think it's Matthew McConaughey says something about, like, we were so worried about looking to the stars as an escape, and I'm butchering the quote, but we forgot our place here in the dust or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I see that perspective. Like,
Yeah.
we're so focused on the future and like all the grand things that are happening. We need something like this to be like, check yourself.
Right.
This is not going to go well if we keep heading down this path.
Well, and I think that was like the creation of the Doomsday Clock was in that realm, was in that vein of, hey, like, look around.
Right.
Like, be aware.
Yep.
Like, just in describing to my child what the Doomsday Clock is, it was like, well, all right, what do you know about, World War II?
Right.
All right, do you know how that ended? All right, so we dropped some bombs, right, on this country and obliterated some cities and like a bunch of
it was horrific.
innocent people.
Right.
And so just like that introduction of this style of warfare and power was like enough for everybody to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop.
Right.
And then that concept of power and racing to see who has the most power to the point that we could, end life on this planet a few times over
Fairly easily.
real quick
Yeah.
with just a couple of people being pissed off at each other.
Yep.
Is a really like sick realization.
Yeah.
And hopefully you think that it's not that easy, but at the same time, if you put the right people in power, it kind of is.
Yeah. Again, I go back to, like, that's the purpose of this,
Right.
is to create a conversation around the impetus for those kinds of things.
Right.
Of like, hey, by the way, are we as a general populace aware of what's going on?
Right.
Because, like, we all kind of get into that insularity and that, like, call it what it is, that self-centered, like, my life is the only thing that matters to me. But have you considered the larger perspective here?
Right.
And I think that's its purpose. You could very easily call it fear mongering. You could very easily, point to political agendas this way and that way. But to me, it's just a representation of, like, hey, have you considered?
Yeah. Take a step back.
Yep.
And just like look at big picture.
Yeah.
Like it's not just about, paycheck to paycheck and,
Sure.
and what's happening right here, but just consider big scale.
Right.
What might be happening.
Right. And, consider what you can do to maybe mitigate some of these things.
I totally agree. And I think it is an interesting thing to think about and to be aware of.
Yep.
For sure. And hope that we don't get to midnight within our lifetime.
Yeah, within our lifetime, sure. But, like, also, soon, just in general, like, hopefully don't get to midnight soon.
Yeah.
I think that the goal of any current human should be to stave off midnight as much as possible.
Yeah. You would think.
Dare I say?
You would think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully cooler heads will prevail.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't get to a situation where global cooperation is required. Some sort of a Dyson sphere level of cooperation.
Yeah.
Where, hey, man, all of those plutonium enriched cores that y'all have, if we just put them all into this thing, we'll have energy forever.
What is the Star Trek, the Federation in Star Trek? What's it called?
Starfleet.
Well, no, like everyone working together. Like the entire planet's basically working together. The utopia, whatever it is. Hopefully we get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem likely, but hopefully. And it's like every country's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Take these things.
We can work together.
We're tired of having them.
Yeah.
Because like we don't even want them anymore.
They're a pain in the ass to handle.
Yeah. There's so much like oversight.
Yeah.
Like, God, we'd love to be rid of this stuff.
Yeah.
And we do it and we're able to like source the energy of the sun and it'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
It'd be cool, but I feel like some bad shit would have to happen to get us all, because I feel like that's like what it usually is.
Yeah, it's a
like
cataclysmic
some sort
event.
of a huge,
Exactly.
horrible thing that makes us all focus.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Sadly.
Yeah. I do.
I mean, even just as a
historically speaking, like,
as
that is
a
true.
singular country, I feel like that's what it takes sometimes. Is like,
let alone a global community.
Yeah, let alone all these different elements in play.
I'm with you.
But hey, it'd be amazing to see it. But I feel like it's going to be on the other side of some really bad thing.
On that note,
On that second to midnight.
you got anything else?
No.
No, me neither. I'm actually like, I might need more whiskey now that I think about it.
Hey, we got
plenty.
we got a good bottle going on.
Yeah,
here.
we do.
Can I say?
Sure.
We just came off of a really high proof rye.
We did.
Right?
Yeah.
Kicker.
Sure.
Kick in the pants.
118 something.
And we dropped down to 92.
And it's still.
And it is hanging.
I know.
And it's still a lot of flavor.
That says
Still has
so
a
much
bite.
about Yellow Spot. Indeed.
Totally. That is like the most impressive thing to me about this.
I agree.
Is that I was a little worried about pulling it off the shelf. Was like,
Is it going to drown it out?
Maybe I should wait because that's going to be a 92. That's going to be a big drop. That might be really disappointing. And if Nick says that this sucks, I'm going to be really sad.
I'm gonna be pissed. I spent
I'm gonna be
$120
really
on that
sad.
damn
It's
bottle.
Like, man, dude, come back another day because it's a good bottle. But it didn't, and
No,
it held up. It held its
no.
own.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
It really
That's
truly
what-
is.
That's like I can't. I'm really surprised, but it was like I want to get this on the podcast. Let's do it now. Let's go. I've had this bottle for a bit.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's an impressive bottle.
Yeah, for the patrons, they know.
Oh, they've known
I did
for
a
a
fresh
while.
crack of this for
God, 6 months
a
ago?
long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey,
We did it.
worth the wait.
Absolutely. Well, we want to know if you've had the chance, the opportunity, the privilege
Privilege
to try the Yellow Spot. What did you think about it?
Indeed, or any other spots. Have you looked at those things? Checked them out?
Yeah, you got it. You might
Gave
need
them a
some
little-
professional help.
little
Oh,
taste?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, have that looked at.
Sure.
But let us know
Yeah.
if we see a blue spot at some point in time in the future. Should
Yeah.
we like pull the trigger on that thing?
Well, if you see a blue spot in your area
Yeah, and you want to pull the trigger.
and provide it to the Trepid Stone podcast,
Yeah,
just let us know.
be a very nice thing to do.
Yeah. We also want to know your thoughts on the Doomsday Clock. How how are you feeling about being 90 seconds to midnight?
Yeah, what's your take on it?
Yeah.
How concerned are you?
And are you doing anything to mitigate that time towards midnight?
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepinstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always a singular word.
One
Drep and
word?
Stone. Yeah, just one.
Oh, okay.
Just one.
How do you spell it?
It's DREP and Stone.
Oh.
But all smashed together as one word.
Okay, so it's one word.
Dreppenstone.
Ooh.
Drepanstone.
No. Drep and stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. One word.
Drepandstone.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you search DREP and stone, you're going to be fine.
DREPANDSTONE.
Yeah. I mean, technically it's 3 words, but like we kind of smush it together.
Yeah, we just took out
Yeah.
spaces.
Mhm. Yeah.
No
well,
space bars.
No. We're about concision here. We want to be concise, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah, quick.
Incision really made me think really quickly of like snip somewhere.
Not incision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We'd also love it if you join the Patreon community. A lot of really cool people there. A lot of good stuff going on. A couple pours with sometimes both of us, pour with one of us, where we kind of deep dive into a specific drink, fresh cracks, episode notes. A lot of really cool stuff going on there.
Yeah. If we're having a special drink one night,
Yeah.
man, we throw that stuff up there real quick.
Absolutely. And that's patreon.com/dripandstone. You can also support the podcast by rating Drip and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And finally, you can support the podcast by telling someone about Drip and Stone.
Yeah. Tell your best friend. Tell your least favorite friend.
Yeah. You see that guy that you're just like, nah, or that lady you're like, nah, I'm not really sure if I like you. Just tell them about it. You might actually make a friend.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just like a way to end a conversation that you're like feeling awkward about.
Drip and Stone.
You know, hey, man, have you listened to Drip and Stone? It's really good. You should go check that out. Hey, I gotta go do this thing really quick though. But like, go check out Drip and Stone.
Drip and Stone. I mean, just name drop it. Like, I would say what, 3-4 times if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as many times as you can say it, it's gonna stick. They're gonna get out of your face.
Yeah.
And be addicted to Drip and Stone and not have to talk to you anymore.
That's how that works.
And we've done you a favor.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Let's go. Shit's awry already.
Whoa.
Fainting goats?
Cut out all that like really heavy breathing I just did there.
Nope.
No.
Leaving it in. Oh, no. Cutting that one.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. I think it's a word. If not, I just
like
made
it.
Yeah, well,
but
thank
it's
you.
scary. It makes my bits twinge.
You can
all. Don't incision me.
You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word.
Did I already say this?
Drip and Stone.
Well, second episode.